At 3:14 a.m., my phone vibrated silently on the nightstand while I was fast asleep. I didn't hear the alert, nor did I hear the quiet footsteps sneaking out of my guest room. By the time the sun came up, my bank account was drained of $9,000. But the person who betrayed me wasn't a stranger or a black market hacker. It was my own sister-in-law, living under my roof. She thought she'd pulled off the ultimate middle-of-the-night heist while I slept helplessly. What she didn't realize was that I set a trap for her before I even closed my eyes, and her greedy little sunrise victory was about to turn into her worst nightmare. My name is Clara, I'm 32 years old, and for 5 years, my life with my husband, Mark, was built on mutual trust, quiet routine, and financial peace of mind. That peace shattered the moment his younger sister, Chloe, pulled up to our driveway with 3 oversized suitcases and a sob story. She claimed it was a sudden emergency, a breakdown with her roommate, a temporary bad break, and swore she only needed a place to crash on our couch for a few days. But from the second she crossed our threshold, the atmosphere shifted. Chloe carried an air of unearned entitlement, making demands rather than asking for favors. Over the next week, I caught her eyeing my belongings, making whispering phone calls late at night, and asking strangely specific questions about our household expenses. Mark brushed it off as stress, but my instincts warned me that Chloe wasn't just looking for a place to sleep. She was hunting for an opportunity. I stayed observant, keeping my eyes open, because I knew a storm was coming. By midnight, the house was silent, but I couldn't shake the heavy feeling in my chest. I drifted into a restless sleep, entirely unaware of what was unfolding just past my bedroom door. At 3:14 a.m., while the rest of the world was fast asleep, Chloe made her move. She slipped out of the guest room, her bare feet gliding soundlessly across the hardwood floor. Step by calculated step, she crept into my home office, where my handbag rested on the desk. With practiced precision, her fingers reached inside, bypassing loose cash and keychains, until they found what she was really after, my high-limit credit card. Sitting in the dark corner of the living room, illuminated only by the cold blue glow of her phone screen, Chloe went to work. In a matter of minutes, she launched a relentless spending spree. She placed rapid-fire orders for designer handbags, bought thousands in instant digital gift cards, and initiated fast wire transfers, draining my credit line by line before the first light of dawn could expose her greed. At 6:30 a.m., I walked into the kitchen, poured my morning coffee, and picked up my phone. My heart instantly dropped. The screen was flooded with urgent fraud alerts. $9,000 spent while I was asleep. My hands shook as I rushed to my office and checked my purse. My card was gone. I walked into the living room, where Chloe was sitting on the couch, calmly sipping her tea like nothing had happened. When I confronted her and demanded my card back, she put on a masterclass in innocent performance, widening her eyes and gasping in fake shock. "Clara, how could you accuse me? I was sleeping all night." Mark stepped between us, trying to play the peacemaker. He looked at me with pleading eyes, insisting, "Chloe would never do something like this, honey. It must be a system glitch or an outside hacker." Chloe hid behind his shadow, smirking quietly, confident that family loyalty would protect her greed and leave me holding the debt. But I stood my ground. Seeing Mark defend her, Chloe's smirk widened. She stood up, grabbed her handbag, and began tossing her clothes into her luggage, fully convinced she had won. She was ready to walk out our front door $9,000 richer, forcing me to swallow the crushing debt. "I won't stay where I'm disrespected," she sniffled, putting on one last dramatic show for her brother. "Hold on, Chloe," I said, my voice ice-cold and steady. "You're not going anywhere." She rolled her eyes, but I pulled out my phone and unlocked a hidden app. Over the past month, after noticing small amounts of cash going missing, I had installed a discreet high-definition camera concealed inside the bookshelf speaker in my office. I didn't just wake up to bank alerts, I continued, turning the screen toward both of them. I woke up to a motion-triggered video. Chloe's face drained of color as the crystal-clear footage played, showing her creeping in at 3:14 a.m. and taking the card. But the real trap was yet to come. "And that card you took?" I added smoothly. It's a monitored corporate account with instant fraud tracking. The trap was set before I even went to bed. As the morning sun finally broke through the living room blinds, the reality of what she had done crashed down on Chloe. The smug arrogance that had coated her face just moments ago evaporated into pure panic. Because it was a monitored corporate account, the bank security team had already flagged every single charge in real time. With 2 quick taps on my phone, I confirmed the fraud. Instantly, all $9,000 in online transactions were frozen. The digital gift cards she'd generated were canceled, and the high-end luxury items she'd ordered were flagged for immediate intercept before they could even ship. Mark stood frozen, watching the clear video footage of his sister stealing from his wife while we slept. The blind loyalty he'd held for her shattered right before my eyes. He turned to Chloe, his voice trembling with disgust. "How could you do this to us?" he whispered, revoking his support instantly. She opened her mouth to spout another lie, but the sound of red and blue police lights flashing through our windows silenced her completely. Chloe panicked, dropping her handbag and scrambling toward the back door, but 2 officers stepped through the entrance before she could make her escape. With the clear, time-stamped video footage in hand and the corporate bank logs confirming the $9,000 theft, the officers didn't hesitate. They read Chloe her rights right there in our hallway while placing her in handcuffs. She burst into desperate tears, begging Mark to intervene, to tell them it was all a misunderstanding. But Mark simply turned his back, refusing to offer a single word of defense for the sister who had betrayed us. Because the stolen funds crossed the grand theft threshold, Chloe was taken straight to county jail to face serious felony charges and identity fraud. Every cent of the fraudulent charges was fully wiped from my corporate line, restoring my finances completely. Chloe had thought she was pulling off a clever middle-of-the-night heist, but instead, her greedy morning ended with her facing the heavy, inescapable weight of full legal accountability. Sitting in my quiet living room later that afternoon, watching the afternoon sun warm the floor, I felt a profound sense of peace. That traumatic experience taught me an invaluable lesson. Never allow toxic family members to manipulate you with guilt, disrespect your boundaries, or compromise your hard-earned security. Trusting my instincts and taking smart, proactive steps ultimately saved me from financial ruin and exposed a predator hiding in plain sight. Now, I'm really curious about your thoughts on how this played out. What would you have done if your spouse's siblings stole thousands of dollars from you under your own roof? Would you have called the authorities immediately, or tried to handle it quietly within the family? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and click on the video appearing on your screen right now for another jaw-dropping real-life drama.